I do appreciate my mother, you know, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created.
If you want to blame the internet, you can blame Monique and her son for the same thing. Maybe they both, instead of bringing this to the internet, should have had the conversation in private.
Never gave up best YouTuber in the world. Never gave up the best YouTuber in the world.
What part of the game is this?
Girl, really?
Now let me find out that Monique in real life is the same mama that she played in Precious. Maybe that's why she played that role so good. Because it was coming from a place deep inside of her. You know, they say reality inspires art. Now, on Club Shay, Monique mentioned her son. And I think one of her quotes was, "I'm going to let God handle it. I'm hoping for God and the universe to fix it." Well, now her son is responding to what she said. Because remember, she brought up her son on her own volition. It's not like it was any reason for her to talk about her son and their failed relationship. And so I think it's fair for him to respond because she talked about him on a platform with millions of views. And so I'm going to let this video play. You can fast forward it, but I want to give this young man his piece and let him say what he got to say. So make sure you like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all in a second.
Hi, I am Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe in order to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm going to talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just going to help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay interview that she did where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. but my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still, during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. That is not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with 3 other sons. And God willing, I'm sure that all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you are not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, and I'd appreciate it if she stopped saying stuff like that.
Now, look, I don't know anything about Monique and her son's relationship, but I do think this. Now, look, I don't know anything about Monique and her son's relationship, but I do see a lot of y'all caping since the Club Shay interview. A lot of y'all who never gave a F about Monique before. I'm not talking about people who've been a fan since Queens of Comedy and followed Monique. I'm talking about all the new bandwagon fans. The fans that when a team win a championship, now they talking about, oh yeah, I was a Kansas City Chiefs fan for 10 years. Nigga, you never bought a Kansas City Chiefs jersey in your life. They won the Super Bowl. You like Taylor Swift. Now you a Kansas City fan. I'm talking about those type of people. And those are the people who are the most, in my opinion, delusional. As if somebody who has made it to Monique's level of success hasn't left behind her own skeletons and people that she has done wrong and people that she might have lied to and did slick stuff to and did mean stuff to. A lot of the stuff that she accusing Tyler Perry of and Oprah of, she might have done herself to people in smaller positions than her. I bet it's some smaller comedians who could give you a story about Monique when she was coming up and how she shitted on them. What you got to understand is it's levels to this. So Monique and Tyler Perry did something wrong to her, but I'm sure she passed it down and did something wrong to people who she feels is or are beneath her. That's just how it goes. I just don't like when people act like, oh no, did Monique tell a lie? Did Cat Williams tell a lie? It's like, come on, bro. Like, are these people gods to you? Because that's what I hate about American culture. We praise these celebrities like they're some type of supernatural beings. Just because they might have an opinion or say something that you like. And then you get your feelings hurt when you find out that it's not all sunshine and roses. And so that's what's going on here. This dude has a different story about his mother and things that he feels like she's done to him. Now, I know a lot of people said he kept calling her husband Sydney daddy. And I saw people say they didn't like that. I don't like when Monique constantly calls her husband daddy. You a grown-ass woman. That's bedroom talk. That's, in private with family and friends. If you want to say that at the cookout, hey daddy, that's cool, but like always announcing to the world that this man is your daddy. For somebody who's been through what Monique has been through, I just find that very cringe for you to keep calling some nigga who didn't birth you daddy. out to millions of people in the world like that shit is cute. It's very cringe. So just as cringe as it is him saying that because he want to be smart and obviously show that he don't got no love lost for Monique and her husband, I feel like it's cringe when Monique say it. But y'all don't want to have that conversation either. Because now the new thing is she's got a husband that stands by her. Y'all don't know what real love look like. But y'all be so stupid. I just see some nigga who's talking for a strong black woman who should be capable of speaking on her own. Even in the Shannon Sharp interview, she kept looking to the side at her husband and talking to him, because it's like, damn girl, can you just do you? I think that's why I loved seeing her on stage the other day, because it was just Monique. It wasn't Daddy. He couldn't come up there and start doing jokes with her. I don't got no issue with black love and all of that other stuff, but when you that close to the hip to somebody, I start asking questions like, what the financials looking like? And do he got control over Monique's money? But y'all don't want to have that conversation either. and did she make him sign a prenup? Because y'all know about all of Monique's failed relationships when she was paying alimony to all of these niggas, and I don't know if she's still paying alimony, but she might be stuck in a situation where she don't want to give another nigga no more money. But y'all don't want to have a conversation about that. And I know I'm going everywhere. I'm not even talking about their relationship, because what can I talk about when it comes to Monique and her son's relationship? He has his opinion about his mother. And just like Shannon Sharp said, I have to take her word just like I have to take his word. I don't know about their relationship. Did she admit that she wasn't the best parent in the world? Yes. Did she admit that, she could have done better? Yes. But like he said in the video, I know people like this. They can, announce what they did wrong, but they never really internalize it. They don't learn from it. They don't try to do, anything different. It's almost like they're saying, I'll just give you what you want. I'll just say I'm wrong. Would I get you to shut up? And I think that's how he's describing his mother. His mother would say, oh, I did this wrong, just because, it's like, all right, you bitching and moaning, you crying. All right, so here, I was wrong. Now go ahead. I said I was wrong. You got what you wanted. And some people are like that. And see, that's another part of the black woman that Monique represents, because many women like her who are funny and loud and speak their mind, they often do have those type of personality issues where it's like, but I'm never wrong. It's always somebody else's fault. I know women just like her, okay? And it's sad, but just like Monique said, you got to let God handle it. And if this was therapeutic for him, we have to accept it, because I think the same thing about Monique going on Shannon Sharp's podcast and bringing up a whole bunch of shit that she done talked about for years that I personally didn't care about. But you know what I said? If this will help Monique get over her issues with Tyler Perry and Oprah, I'm all for it. So if this will help this young man move on, I'm all for it. But I'm going to point something out about Monique's son real quick too. Now on his TikTok profile picture, it's a photo of younger Monique and him as a child. And I don't know if he's using this photo to prove that he's really Monique's son, or is this a guy who still has love for his mother? Also, I hear a lot of people asking, why is he speaking up now? Well, if you wanted to get something off, obviously it would be a good time to do it right now because of all of the momentum that Monique has going after the interview, after the tour she's on with Cat Williams. So I can kind of see why he's speaking now, but I can agree with other people who say, oh, are you doing this now to try to tear down your mother and the whole world is against Monique. How could he speak on his mom like that? And I think both sides have valid points, but I'll say this. It's really hard to judge the mindset of people who are hurt, and especially when it comes to family. And that's why I don't really have some real big, deep take on this, because they're family. We can sit up here as fans and say all of this other stuff, and then next week they be back together and hugging each other and kissing. That's her son. That's his mother. Unfortunately, we just got brought into their personal business because of the internet. And if you want to blame the internet, you can blame Monique and her son for the same thing. Maybe they both, instead of bringing this to the internet, should have had the conversation in private. Let me know what y'all think about this. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. I will see y'all next time. Peace.